Hi, I'm the map maker, and today I will tell you how to get into lucid dreams. I have more than 10 years of experience in lucid dreams. I started somewhere in 2012, maybe earlier. I visited all the best teachers I could find. I watched all the best lessons I could find. I followed all the instructions, and for 10 years I collected data. And at some point it became not enough, so I started putting all the data that I found over the years into one big map. And by looking at the entire map and how it all works together, how all the techniques work together and which parts of the brain they work with, I found certain main points that knowing about which allows to get into lucid dreams easier and faster. My breakthrough is that I saw that there are three qualities in the lucid dream, which is the width of the picture, the detalization of the picture, and the desire to change the picture. And if you work with them correctly, you can get into lucid dream almost every time very easily. So I have many students, many of them, probably about 90% of them, get successful in their attempts after the first try. So I'm really excited to share this knowledge with you. I'm hoping that it will be useful. And today we will cover only the basics. So I will today only describe, based on that research, how to get into lucid dream as easy as possible. And once you have that knowledge, so once you finish today's course, we will go into some more advanced stuff later. Right now, the goal is to just get into lucid dream as fast as possible, as easy as possible, and this course is all about that. So enjoy, glad to see you, and I hope that you'll find it useful. So here we go. So our first lesson is to understand what images we'll be working with. What I want you to do right now is take a very simple object. I will have a cup, you may have something else. It may be, I don't know, a computer mouse, a pen, your wallet, whatever. A simple object that can fit in your hand. And the goal is to, so the first thing you do is you put this on your table, and right now your goal is just to look at it, right? Look at this object. So just relax, don't think about anything, just look at this object, and I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to see this object before your eyes. I want you to visualize this object as clearly as you can, like it has to be visually present right here in front of your eyes. And it doesn't have to be necessarily really detailed at this point. You just have to see something that resembles this cup, right? So try to see this cup as clearly as you can. And those images that you see are phantom images. So the cup that you see is the phantom cup. In lucid dreams, they often talk about phantom world, phantom images. So this is what they're talking about, right? The phantom cup is the cup that you clearly see before your eyes. These are the images that we'll be working with. So the goal right now is to just understand what these images are. And if you could, try to make this image of this cup, so you see this cup, try to make it more detailed as you can. It won't be really detailed because we're not sleeping right now. But try to make it as detailed as you can, and try to make it a little bit wider. Not just the cup, but try to see a little bit to the side, to each side of the cup. See a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. See what's around this phantom cup that you see before your eyes. that's your first lesson. Take a moment, take 5 minutes, try to visualize it, and once you're done, we'll go to the next step. So that's it for now. So now that you have your cup visually before your eyes, the second step will be to see your hand and inside the same image where your cup is, right? So you see some kind of a blurred image of your cup. In the same image, try to visualize your hand next to it and try to grab this cup with that hand. So your goal is right now to see your hand and feel your hand as if it was your real hand, right? So your goal is to reach the tactile feelings. You want to see your hand and also feel as if it's coming from your shoulder, right? So as if it's your real hand. And inside that image, take your phantom hand, your phantom, like imaginary hand, and try to grab this visualized cup. And I want you to feel like how rigid the cup is, how cold it is. I want you to feel its weight, and you maybe even try to flick it. Try to touch it as realistically as you can with your phantom hand. So you have your phantom cup, your imaginary cup, right? That's in front of your eyes, which is a replica of this real cup. So you have this replica cup before your eyes. You see your hand next to it, and you touch that cup with that hand. And the goal is to see both of them, see cup and the hand, and touch the cup with the hand. That's the technique that's called sensorization, which is a fancy word of calling a process of touching phantom objects with phantom parts of your body. That's the main technique that gets most people into lucid dream very efficiently. You will hear about this technique a lot, and that's what sensorization means. Just sensory, tactile feelings of your phantom hand touching the phantom cup. That's what I want you to do right now. Take a minute. Don't rush. It's more important to do it correctly than quickly. You will get there. This is a big part of lucid dream, is understanding this phantom body and how it interacts with the phantom images. So touch the phantom cup, and once you're done, we will get to our next step. Good luck. Okay, great. So at this point, you are already familiar with what phantom body is and what phantom world, phantom images are. And you know how they interact with each other, or that you have this visual image of a cup, and by touching it, you kind of improve the sharpness of the image, if you will. So the third step is you have to now close your eyes, and instead of looking for specific objects like a cup, try to just not look for anything, but try to allow your brain to show you whatever it wants. So your goal is to close your eyes and just look into the darkness and try to see whether or not there are any other images out there, right? So your goal is to just sit with your eyes closed, look into the darkness, and just exactly the same way you saw your cup, you want to see, are there any other images? They will be instantaneous flashes of parts of the objects. Maybe you may see your part of your kitchen, or I don't know, forest, or a puppy or something. It's random images that your brain often shows you. Close your eyes and try to see if there's anything else, not just the cup, just any other hints of visual images out there. And those are the images that we will be working with when we in our next steps, when we will actually try to get into lucid dream. So right now, just close your eyes and just whatever, if it's more than just darkness, whatever it is, that's the images you're looking for. It may be some very faint, very weak images. It may be, you may not even understand what they are, what your brain wants to show you. Some parts of the images is what you're looking for. They will not be very bright because we are not sleeping right now. We are not about to sleep. So these images, these random images, will at best be very, very weak. But once we will start trying to get to sleep, they will become brighter and brighter, and they will become more realistic. So the goal right now is to just see what you can. Play with it for a little bit, take a minute or two, relax, close your eyes, and try to see the images. And once you are successful at seeing at least something, then go to the next step. Great. So at this point, you know what random images, random phantom images are. And right now, the next step will be for you to actually try to touch them with your phantom hand. So you will try to close your eyes, see your random images. So look into the darkness, see if there are any images out there before your eyes. And once you see at least something, you imagine your phantom hand next to it and try to touch those random objects that you see with your phantom hand. So when you touch them, you have to feel as if it's your real hand, right? You have to feel it completely going from that image to your shoulder, to your real shoulder. So you have to be relaxed. You don't do anything with your physical body. You just have to visualize your hand next to it. And once you see that random flashing object, you try to stabilize it, try to hold it before your eyes so that it doesn't go away, and then just visualize your hand next to it and try to touch that object as if you were touching it with your real hand, right? So tactile feelings have to go from that phantom hand down to your shoulder, as if you're really touching it. That's the main technique that I use personally for the last probably 4 years. Once you get good at it, that will be the only technique you need to get into lucid dream. So there are many techniques. I've tried all of them over the course of the first 5 years of my lucid dreaming, but once I invented this technique, I don't really use anything else. So that's the best technique that gives my students best results. And I take your time, see the random images, feel them with your imaginary phantom hand, and once you see them, once you get good at it, go to the next step, which will be actually using it to get to a lucid dream. All right, so that's all for now. Okay, so that's the finish line. You already know the basics. You already know what images we're working with. those random flashing images. You already know what phantom body is. Right now, you will have to do your first attempt to get into lucid dream. So the next step will actually require you to try to go to sleep, right? So next time you go to sleep, what you have to do is you have to set up your alarm clock to wake you up 5 or 6 hours after you go to sleep. So you want to go to sleep and sleep for like 5 or 6 hours and then wake up using your alarm clock. Then you have to walk around your house, drink a cup of water, not go to bed for the next 5-10 minutes, and then you have to go back to bed. And once you go back to bed, you have to do exactly what we did in the previous step, which is that you have to close your eyes. You have to look at it into the darkness before your eyes to see if there are any images. And if there are, try to touch them with your phantom hand. So try to imagine your hand next to them and try to touch them. This will work a lot better when you try to go to sleep the second time. The images will be a lot brighter. They will be a lot more clear. So what I want you to do is, once you try to get to sleep, I want you to imagine that your goal is to fall asleep, but not notice that you fall asleep. And while you're trying to get to sleep without noticing that you fell asleep, I want you to look into the darkness to see if there are any of those random flashes of images, and touch them with your phantom hand. And what happens is, once you get deeper and deeper in your sleep, the images will become more and more realistic. So it will be like not very bright at first, but then you will have these dips of really, really realistic images. Sometimes it will feel as if you're there, but you will still feel your real body in your bed. But at some point, you just keep touching them with your hand, and at some point you will fall asleep, like actually fall asleep really deep, and then you will wake up in that image. You will feel your entire body, not just your phantom hand, but your entire phantom body inside that image. And that's where we're going. That's what we're heading to. We want our entire body to get into that image. So to summarize, your goal is to choose a day of the week where for the rest of your day you will not be busy. Preferably it should be like Sunday morning or something. And so at Sunday morning, what you do is you set up your alarm clock for 5 or 6 a.m. so that after 5 or 6 hours of sleep you would wake up. You will have to take 5-10 minute walk around your house, maybe drink a cup of water, stuff like that. And then you have to go back to sleep again. And once you go back to sleep for the second time, you have to close your eyes, look into the darkness before your eyes, try to see if there are any of these random flashes of images. And if there are any, then visualize your hand next to them and try to touch with those random images as much as you can. And you have to feel actual tactile feeling. Touch them as much as you can, and the more you touch them, the more realistic they will become. And at some point you will get these flashes of them becoming as real as if you're actually there, but you're still not going to be 100% there. But if you just keep touching them, at some point you will have this dip where you actually fall asleep, and then you will get into the lucid dream fully. So you will be inside that image, and you will be fully feeling your actual phantom body in that image. You will be controlling the images, right? You will be controlling this scenario. So at that point, once you get there, we will later in the course discuss how to work with that environment, what you can do there, some techniques of finding objects and stuff like that. Right, so right now you know the basics. You have to just try it, get into Lucid Dream, and let me know if you were successful. And once you get there, we will discuss what you can do there, what techniques to use to find objects or people, what are the limitations or the possibilities of that environment, and other very interesting stuff. What you know right now gets 90% of my students into Lucid Dream in the first day, maybe 10% get another 5-7 days of trying before they actually get there, but you will get there, that's guaranteed. I tried all the approaches and I know that this is the best one. There are more complex ones, with more sophisticated ones, I'd say, that work in specific circumstances, but you have to know where you're getting, and you have to know all the qualities of the environment in order to use them correctly. So this technique that I'm talking about today is the technique, like the really easiest way for the novice to get into Lucid Dream as fast as possible. And play with it, maybe rewatch my course again if you have to. And once you get into Lucid Dream, then you feel free to get my second course, which will go into more advanced stuff. Okay, so that's my course for today. That's all I wanted to discuss at this point, and I hope you'll be successful in your attempts. And if you want to me personally teach you, discuss your cases, discuss your mistakes, and kind of guide you into this interesting world of lucid dreaming, you just let me know and we will figure out how the best way to do it. You just leave me a comment, send me a message. You can contact me on Patreon and whatnot. I have a YouTube channel devoted to this topic. You can find me out there and we can get you in the lucid dream as quickly as possible. All right, so have a good one. See you next time.